Welcome to this ultimate guide on how to spend a week exploring the beautiful Balkans. Located in southeast Europe on the shore of the Adriatic Sea, these destinations are a jewel that must be discovered. In this video, we'll be visiting Kotor in Montenegro, Dubrovnik in Croatia, and Mostar in Bosnia-Herzegovina. Stay tuned to find out where this beautiful blue grotto is, and we'll reveal which Hollywood actor has a statue in one of Mostar's parks. And once you've seen this video, you'll be sure to have a trip of a lifetime in these countries. So first, let's head to Montenegro. Hey guys, and welcome to the beautiful town of Kotor in Montenegro. I'm just outside the Old Town, so come with me as I explore around here, and also as we go up to the fortress of St. John's Church. It's an absolutely beautiful, breathtaking place, and I'm going to show you exactly why you need to come here to Montenegro on your next holiday. On a visit to Kotor, you'll be greeted by the impressive city walls, which in some parts date back to the 9th century. It's no wonder that this special city is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Along by the walls, you'll also find many street vendors and markets, a perfect place to wander and explore. In the Bay of Kotor right behind me, and as you can see, the cruise ships come right into the bay. Kotor is a popular tourist destination for the cruises, especially across the Adriatic Sea. There's Dubrovnik just a little bit further up, and this place really is absolutely breathtaking. The pictures, the videos really don't do it justice. This is the main square in Kotor, and as you can see, it is the hub where everyone heads to whilst visiting. Right behind me, we've got the clock tower, which dates back to 1602. Having been ruled by the Venetians, the Italian influence is everywhere, especially in its food. We stopped off at Scorpio for lunch, and I had a tasty salmon pasta. But Kotor really came into its own with the ice creams. Now, I've been to Italy a few times before, but these were genuinely the best ice creams that I've ever had. You must try them whilst in Montenegro. It was time to work off the lunch and ice cream, so we made our way over to the path that leads to St. John's Fortress. So now we're climbing up to St. John's Fortress. It's €8 to get up, but immediately you reward us with views just like this, and it's only going to get better. Nearly at the top now. It is a grueling walk, especially if you're doing it in the summer, just like I am, but hey, you are rewarded with views just like this. And we're nearly there. Let me show you what it's like when we get to the top. This is the fortress of St. John's. We've made it to the top, and just check out these views all around me. And if you wanted to, you could actually carry on and climb this mountain right here, right behind me. That's for another day. I'm not going to do this today, but let's just soak this in and enjoy beautiful Kotor right here in Montenegro.
We're experiencing some awesome views at one of the mountain tops overlooking the great town of Kotor. As you can see, we've noticed that everything seems so small. and the weather's great and we're just waiting for the sunset.
After enjoying a spectacular sunset, we made our way back to Kotor and had dinner at Konoba Roma, a traditional Montenegrin restaurant. And to top it off, we were treated to some beautiful live music as we sat outside in the old square. Into another day, and it was time to head off on a boat ride. Welcome to Our Lady of the Rocks. This is a man-made island right in the middle of the Bay of Kotor, and you get sweeping panoramic views if you were to come here. So make sure you book onto a tour. I've put a link below for Get Your Guide, which is ideal for a tour of the Bay of Kotor. You can come to here, you can come to the submarine island, you can also go swimming as well in the blue caves. The Our Lady of the Rocks island was made as an artificial island. According to local legend, it was built by local seamen who on their big sailboats brought big stones after apparently seeing an apparition in the water, and they decided to build a church in that place. After leaving the island, we moved on to a submarine tunnel that was used by the Yugoslav army. Built during the 1970s, these tunnels were for many years a hidden secret. Abandoned in 1992 following the breakup of Yugoslavia, you can still see the fake rocks which cover the entrance to the tunnels, making people think that it's part of the cliff face. The boat carried on towards the Blue Cave, and as it did, it went past the island of Mamula. Previously a concentration camp during World War II, this old fort has now been converted into a hotel. At this point, it was touch and go as to whether we'd make it to the Blue Cave as the weather was starting to turn. To say I'd be disappointed if we didn't make it would be an understatement, as this was going to be the highlight of the day for me. Thankfully, the captain stuck to his guns and we made it to the beautiful pristine waters of the Blue Cave on Montenegro's Adriatic coast.
Give us a wave, Mike.
Before leaving Kotor, there was time for one last meal at the fantastic La Catedral pasta bar. I'd highly recommend it. Both the food and location were spot on. And as we left, we drove up into the mountains to admire the beautiful Bay of Kotor one final time. Welcome to the top of Lovchen Mountain, and you're treated to views like this of the Bay of Kotor. Kotor in Montenegro is a beautiful destination which has everything from culture to scenery and fun activities in between. You will not be disappointed on a visit to this stunning part of the world. So having completed Kotor, it was time to drive north and enjoy some spectacular views on the way up to Dubrovnik in Croatia. Hey guys, and welcome to the Old Town of Dubrovnik in Croatia. Let me show you around what this beautiful city has to offer from medieval times and why you must visit here. It's a tourist haven, but it's still well worth the trip, so come with me for the ride. The first thing I noticed when arriving at the city was the crowds. This place is popular, which makes it busy. But when you enter through the gates of the city walls, which were built in the 13th century, you then enter into Main Street of Old Town, and you can see why Dubrovnik is such a popular tourist destination. Known as Stradon, this beautiful street is paved in limestone and is flanked by fountains and bell towers. In between, you'll find exquisite Venetian buildings which house shops and restaurants. Look out for the many alleyways that splinter off this main street. It's full of character and wonder. It's no surprise that many films and TV shows, such as Game of Thrones, have chosen this city as a filming location. So just stopping off for lunch in Dubrovnik, it's along the main square. Let's see what it's like. It's absolutely beautiful here. The whitewashed buildings. I can't recommend it. Don't be under any illusions that Dubrovnik is a cheap place to eat. This meal costs between 15 and 20 euros, and that seems standard for restaurants within the Old Town. But it was a good quality meal, and the views and ambience are second to none. There's a selfie museum here in Dubrovnik, so what should I do? Take a selfie. So that you can really get the most out of your visit to Old Town, I would recommend joining a walking tour. I put a link to a Get Your Guide tour in the description below, and on this tour, you'll find a fascinating insight to the many palaces, towers, and churches that Dubrovnik has to offer. After all the walking, no doubt you're going to be thirsty, so make sure you stop by Onofrio's fountain for a pit stop and to fill up your water bottle. The water is safe to drink. Now, you may be wondering, what about the famous walls of Dubrovnik Old Town? Are they worth visiting? Well, if you're here for just a few hours like I was, I don't think so. You can see plenty by exploring the Old Town and by walking around the outside of the walls. You'll see old forts and the beautiful architecture of the many gates into the city. You can even stop for a bit of kayaking just off the coast and take in the views of Old Town from the sea. But if you're here for a few days, then I'd say touring the walls is well worth it. Tickets cost 35 euros, and that includes entrance to many of the museums and palaces located within the city. So this has been Dubrovnik Old Town. Make sure while you're here visiting in Croatia that you do it. It is absolutely beautiful. It's amazing to think that it's so well preserved after all of this time, and it is beautiful Venetian architecture at its finest. We moved on to Bosnia and Herzegovina, our third and final country of the trip. Here we stayed the night in a rustic converted barn in the countryside, and the next morning it was time to explore. Welcome to Bosnia Herzegovina, and today we're travelling around Mostar. So let's see what we can see in this beautiful town. Well, just walking around the Old Town in Mostar, and it is a really quirky but beautiful place. Just check out this street right behind me. Let's go and explore what we can see here. Mostar Old Town has been described as the most important cultural city in Bosnia and Herzegovina because it links the Muslim and Christian parts of the city together by means of the Neretva River. The Old Town is beautiful and quaint, with its cobbled streets leaving you imagining what life would have been like here when it was in its heyday during the Ottoman Empire. And no trip to Mostar is complete without a visit to the Old Bazaar. Think winding alleyways with many shops, restaurants and boutiques lining each side. Welcome to Stari Most. This is the most famous bridge here in Bosnia-Herzegovina, dating back to the 16th century. This is where you must visit while you're here in Mostar. This beautiful bridge is the perfect backdrop for photographs whilst visiting the city. Try and grab a bite to eat in one of the many restaurants or cafes that line the river so that you can marvel at this view over lunch. It's devastating to think that the original bridge was destroyed in the Bosnian War back in 1993, especially after being in place for over 400 years. But using the same techniques and materials as those used for the construction of the original bridge, this bridge was rebuilt in 2004, with the city of Mostar becoming a World Heritage Site a year later. Made it up to the top of Mostar's most famous tourist attraction. Stari Most stands 24 metres above the water. Whilst on the bridge, you can watch people dive in, with some waiting there to do so once they've made enough money. But a big tip, don't try diving in yourself. Just a short walk from Most is this cute miniature version known as the Crooked Bridge. We stopped at the banks of the river here for a bite to eat. Food and drink in Bosnia and Herzegovina is so cheap and it's tasty stuff. A win-win all round. Evidence of the Yugoslavian war is still on show in the city in a much greater way than you'd find in Croatia or Montenegro. For example, you can see the sniper tower which was seized by the Croat army during the war. Across the way from this building is the Spanish Square, which was built by the Bosnian government to honour the Spanish soldiers who died during the war. But then, in this same square, you can see the opulent old gymnasium. This was one of the oldest and most famous schools in the former Yugoslavia. This square is a stark reminder of the recent history and battles that this country has suffered. And now for the big reveal. Who is this pop culture icon?
Right behind me we've got a statue to Bruce Lee, because apparently the people of Mostar of Bosnia absolutely loved Bruce Lee, and why not? He was epic. So make sure that you come and see this quirky sculpture.
After admiring the awesome statue of Bruce Lee, it was nearly time to move on to our next destination. But before doing so, we checked out some of the impressive street art that Mostar has to offer.
So just a short drive from Mostar, you can reach Kravich Waterfalls, and that's exactly where I'm heading to now. You can do 2 on the same day, well worth it.
Kravich Waterfalls are a 45-minute drive from Mostar, and the entrance fee is between 8 to 10 euros. This stunning national park and Mostar are doable in a day trip from Dubrovnik, and I've put a link in the description below so you can book on a tour to visit these destinations from Dubrovnik.
Just in for a tip right here, and if you come to these waterfalls, make sure you do the same thing, especially in the summer sun and the summer heat. There's nothing more refreshing than this.
As well as going for a swim here, which, as you can tell, I definitely recommend, you can also go for a boat ride across the lake for an added fee. There are also some restaurants and cafes surrounding the lake, though these are quite limited. But this place really is just perfect to relax and unwind. It's a hidden gem in the Bosnian countryside.
I've been Mike the Travelling Scouser, and you, as you always are, have been awesome. Hit like and subscribe below so you can get to see more of my content. I'll catch up with you next time. Ciao for now.